Welcome to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette, with your host Steve Garrett, MC and DJ at one of the largest Corvette weekends in the country, Corvette Fun Fest, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 40 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, and the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-639-4231. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, "Hey Google" or "Alexa, play the podcast called Corvette Today," and you're connected. Be sure and visit the updated Corvette Today website. It's CorvetteToday.com. You can also access everything there, including the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also join the Corvette Today Facebook group there and sign up for Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at corvettetoday.ck.page. And if you like YouTube, you can subscribe to the Corvette Today YouTube channel. See all Corvette Today episodes on YouTube. And be sure and patronize our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, MidEngineCorvetteForum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at MidEngineCorvetteForum.com. And Soul Performance Products. Developed and manufactured in the United States, the Soul Performance Products exhaust portfolio has been tailored to elevate the experience of the world's most exciting sports cars, including the latest generation of the Corvette. Soul Performance Products at SOULPP.com, the official performance exhaust of Corvette Today. Aerolarri Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 different unique styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvettes. It's an amazing value, starting at only $23.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And use the promo code CT111 and get $100 off your purchase. Visit aerolarri.com, that's AEROLARRI.com, and use the promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. And a shout out to Corvette Forum and CanadianCorvetteForum.com, welcoming Corvette enthusiasts from around the world. It's time to bring you the latest Corvette news and headlines with my pal Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Keith is here every other week. We keep you current and up to date on what's happening with America's sports car. Keith, welcome back to the show. You and I have a busy week this week. We'll be at Corvettes at Carlisle.
Yeah, I've already started packing, and of course, we've got all the events coming up there. And 2 weeks from now, we're going to be at the National Corvette Museum. This is where we really get down to the wire on some of these final events for the summer. So we're very excited. Of course, Corvettes at Carlisle, one of the best shows to ever attend. Glad to see you there. That's the great part about these shows, is we get to see all of our old friends in person again. Really looking forward to it.
It's a great big car show, and it's great to get everybody together, that's for sure. All right, buddy, let's start off like we usually do with Corvette news and headlines and an update on Corvette production from the Bowling Green Assembly Plant.
I think I've got some pretty big news here. You know, our numbers always lag a day or two, but based on where we were following last Wednesday's production count, we believe the 2023 Corvette model has just surpassed 50,000 Corvettes produced for the model year.
Wow.
50,000, Steve. I mean, that's an amazing number. We're currently showing around 44,419 Stingrays and another 5,375 or so Z06s for a total of 49,775. We've got 70th anniversary models. We're at 4,140 Stingrays and 812 Z06s for a total of 4,952. So I really think that we're going to see us do over 5,000 70th anniversaries for the year. This closing week. First of all, I can't even believe that we're at that 50,000 mark. We still got a couple weeks to go in production. So we're chasing records where I think right now we're at number 3 all time on the list. Just got a few more weeks to go and see if we can hit that number 2 mark or even the number 1 mark. That number 1 mark, I believe, is the 79 Corvette. It's like 53,800 or so.
Okay.
I don't have the number off the top of my head, but man, oh man, I could not believe that we've surpassed 50,000 for the year. We always think of all the stuff that's been going on, you know, and we're still kind of snake bit with the supply chain and issues lingering from COVID and all the other stuff that's going on in the world. And yet every day, these guys are just pumping out car after car after car. So great news there. Real excited about it. I'm going to double check on Monday just to see where we were following Friday, but I'm pretty sure we've surpassed 50,000 for the model year.
That's fantastic news. We're kind of like Avis. We try harder.
Yeah, here we go. Yes, we do.
And buddy, speaking of production, we understand that the 2024 E-Ray ordering has been delayed, hasn't it?
Well, it seems like it. A lot of times we don't know timetables. So to say that something's delayed when you don't know the timetable, Chevy likes to do that, But back in July, they sent out a memo to dealers stating that the first E-Ray orders would start on August 17th. They set the date, but then last week when it was time for dealers to get their first allocation numbers, the dealers only got another batch of Stingray and Z06 numbers instead. There's some speculation going on about that, what's going on here. And a lot of the dealers we're speaking with, they're really thinking this could be related to the ongoing negotiations between the UAW and the big three automakers. The contract is up, I believe, on September 15th. And the thinking from some of the dealers we spoke with is that this could be kind of like a negotiation tactic. You're removing the launch of a new Corvette in the middle of a strike, and that might help these negotiations that are taking place. A lot of people are saying strike, and the national UAW is actually urging its local union shop to vote for strike authorization, which means that they vote to strike, but they're not striking yet. Basically, they're saying they're all on board. This is all expected, but there's a lot happening behind the scenes. That kind of leads us to our next point.
Yes, you're right. Our next point is that the E-Ray production is supposed to begin on October 23rd.
Yeah, well, so sorry to throw that out there like that, Steve. Chevy again set this date. They sent out a memo to dealers on August 10th. What we kind of really looked at this is, this startup date is 6 weeks past the other 2024 models, which are supposed to start down the line on Monday, September 11th. By looking at the date and the calendar and stuff, by delaying the start of regular production for the E-Ray, again, it's given Chevy some time for these labor issues to work themselves out and not be in the middle of a new Corvette launch. The previous strike started in late 2019. It lasted 40 days. Hopefully, we'll be able to get all this all resolved before that first E-Ray starts down the production line. We just want our cars. We want the best car possible. We want everything to be good between management and the workers, and that just results in a better car for us. Again, I think that the staggered startup with the E-Ray, I really think they're starting to look at these negotiations with the UAW and saying, let's kind of remove the E-Ray from that. We're already doing Stingray and Z06. We have to do Stingray and Z06. Let's remove that first hybrid from the mix. Let everything kind of settle down, and then we'll launch it. I'm hoping that's really what happens. And of course, if we go to strike during that, it'll be resolved after the strike ends anyway. No harm, no foul there. There's a lot of little speculations going on, and everybody's wondering what's going on here and there. But our thoughts are that they're ready to make this car. Obviously, they've made a whole bunch of CTFs, so they've been down the line. They've got the process in place. They're just ready to start making that happen, and we just need everybody on board to do it.
I hope we get that thing out, and I hope the labor negotiations go really smooth. I know it's already bumpy, but gosh, let's get this thing rolling and not have any interruptions whatsoever.
Well, in the end, we're all one big happy family, and I hate the phrase that we're all in this together, but really a lot of ways we are. Management and the workers need to come together and get this done.
Yeah, very true. Also, the National Corvette Museum had a real milestone. They delivered VIN number 1 of the 2023 70th anniversary Corvette Coupe. That was cool.
It was real cool that they used the 70th anniversary, but the Coupe VIN 001, to give that to the National Corvette Museum as a raffle car, a great way to help that museum bring in money. They've been doing these raffles forever. It's a major fundraiser for them. A guy named Cliff Payne out of Jacksonville, Florida, he was there at the NCM during the National Council of Corvette Clubs annual convention back in June. His wife bought a ticket. She said, you better go buy a ticket. He bought a ticket and he won it.
Wow.
So pretty cool there. He says he's always been into black Corvettes, and so he should be right at home in his Carbon Flash 70th Anniversary Edition. The National Corvette Museum says that this was their 432nd Corvette that they've given away since the raffle program started in 2019.
Wow.
I'm going to be up there in 2 weeks. I did look. There's a couple raffles going on during the anniversary celebration. They're both Stingrays, but one of them's always unlimited at $20, which I'm always in for. Here's $20, give me a ticket.
Sure.
Just happy to help and support. Do you ever do the raffles at the museum?
I have not done any of the museum raffles at all. I like to win a Z06 or an E-Ray, though.
They do have those. I think they've had a Z06 once or twice as a raffle car.
They are.
But production's so tight on those, they obviously want to give those to customers.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that, but I think there probably will end up being a special E-Ray at some point offered by the museum there. Pretty cool stuff. And again, real people do win these cars.
That's really cool. And also the Corvette team is going to be at Corvettes at Carlisle this week. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on the team.
I know, it's always great. This is the 41st annual Corvettes at Carlisle. Both Steve and I are going to be there. We'll be there with all our friends, including Corvette team members like Devin Blue, the Corvette program manager, Tad Stucker, Corvette executive chief engineer, Josh Holder, Corvette vehicle chief engineer, and our good buddy Harlan Charles, Corvette marketing manager, is going to be there. The Corvette engineers, they always have their own tent there on Manufacturers Row. They're hosting daily tech talks, so you can go look at the calendar that day, and they'll have 3 or 4 different seminars throughout the day. Our understanding is that there's going to be at least 4 E-Rays there under the tent, both coupes and convertibles. There's also going to be the E-Ray rolling chassis, the cutaway chassis, so you can see where the batteries are stored, where the front electric drive unit is. That's going to be there. And then I'm also told that there's going to be a 2024 Stingray on display, which we're guessing that this is always the Corvette accessories car that they show every year. So you can expect to see, hopefully, that new Stingray 2-pedestal spoiler. We want to check out the chrome wheels, like the 15-spoke chrome wheels that just came out. So we're really expecting a lot of things. And then, of course, the 3 new exterior colors should be available to view on the 2024 Corvettes as well. Always good stuff happening there. They do the big seminar talks in front of the stage on both Friday and Saturday. You don't want to miss those. Good stuff happening there. Just very excited to be back to Carlisle.
And we will see everybody there. Well, Keith, let's take our first break. When we come back, it's Corvette Racing and Corvette Rumors on deck on Corvette Today.
We all know that wheels make the car. Wheelcraft's PVD chrome finish in bright chrome or black chrome will take your Corvette to new levels. And it comes with a 5-year warranty. Wheelcraft is returning to Carlisle this year with on-site mounting and balancing services on Installation Alley. Take advantages of the on-site exchange of your factory wheels for Wheelcraft PVD chrome and eliminate all shipping charges, which can be a savings of $150 to $300. Wheelcraft is prepared to exchange C8's 5-spoke, Trident 20-spoke, and Z06 wheels, as well as select models of C4 through C7 factory wheels. Contact Wheelcraft today to place your order and let our mobile tire service partner mount and balance your newly finished wheels so you return home in style. Durability is a defining feature of the Wheelcraft finish. Their PVD chrome is superior to traditional chrome, with a finish that is brake dust resistant and cleans effortlessly with soap and water. Wheelcraft offers factory wheel exchange for select C4 through C8 models, or they can apply the PVD finish to your current wheels. No matter what generation you own, Wheelcraft will transform the look of your Corvette. With every Corvette comes a unique story, and Wheelcraft has embraced this idea. When you purchase your new set of wheels, you receive a lifetime membership to the Wheelcraft Pit Crew, granting you access to your own page on Wheelcraft's website, where you can post pictures and tell your Corvette story. If you're planning on attending Carlisle, be sure to visit Wheelcraft on the Midway and take advantage of mobile and wheel exchange on Installation Alley. Call early to place your order and reserve your appointment for installation. Visit our website at wheelcraft.com or call 833-639-4231. Arrive in style with Wheelcraft.
Car Capsule brings you the official multi-award-winning Corvette SC1 Showcase. It's the ultimate form of protection, preservation, and presentation for your Corvette. No dust, mold, or mildew. This officially licensed GM product features all 8 Corvette flag logos, Corvette branding on the panels, a carbon fiber look and feel, and interior chip onboard lighting, plus the IntelliCharge battery charger with the fan backup system. It takes only 5 minutes to inflate, and it won't collapse when you open the doors or during a power loss. It's a freestanding drive-in, drive-out operation. See it at carcapsule.com or call 219-945-9493.
The Radiator Grill Store offers C8 Corvette A-pillar wind diffusers in beautiful carbon fiber or OEM gloss black that help reduce wind buffeting when a window is open. Easy installation and OEM fitment. Plus, get 10% off your total purchase with the promo code CT10 at radiatorgrillstore.com.
Are you ready to take your Corvette to the next level? Look no further than Classic Trim Customs. As the #1 supplier for American hydrocarbon, we've manufactured some of the most impressive Corvette parts on the market, from engine bay panels to splitters and side skirts. With over 30 years of experience in hydrographics, we've perfected the technique and use only state-of-the-art materials and equipment to ensure the highest quality and precision. Visit our website at ClassicTrimCustoms.com or give us a call at 305-258-3090 to learn more about our products and services. Whether you want to create a show-stopping ride or just add a touch of personalization, the sky is the limit with Classic Trim Customs. Let us help you create the Corvette of your dreams.
And now, back to Corvette Today with your host and my husband, Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Wheelcraft. Car show season is here and you want your Corvette looking its best. Dress it up with bright chrome and black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com or call them 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. We keep you current and up to date on what's happening in the world of Corvette every other week. In segment number 2, we always cover Corvette Racing and Corvette rumors. First, in racing, Keith, how did we do at Road America?
Well, we finished third in class at the IMSA race at Road America. And again, it was sort of another frustrating outcome. Number 3 Corvette C8R, Antonio Garcia was leading with 51 minutes to go, and we were poised to take it to the checkered flag. But race officials said that the team did not meet the minimum refueling time as they short fueled the tank in that last stop. So the team tried to show evidence that, no, we did everything okay, but they were overruled, and Garcia was forced to come in through a drive-through penalty. That knocked us down to third. We finished third in the race, but even worse is the fact that the Lexus that's leading in the championship standings, they ended up finishing ahead of us. They finished second, so they got those additional second place points. We got less with third place points, and so now we're even further back in the standings than we were, and we only got 3 races to go. The whole thing about short filling the tank, they put out a chart on how they did that. There's a minimum refueling time for the full tank, but because they short filled it, they have to do an estimate. Basically what happens is at the end of the flow, the fuel flow is faster at the end than it is at the beginning, so they ended up finishing quicker than they would have had they done the full tank and met the minimum, I guess. This is all around BOP, balance of performance, and a bunch of other things that are factors in place. It was very confusing, and it did require the team to kind of come out, hit the whiteboard, and kind of explain what happened there. We've had a couple of these races this year that have ended frustrating like this at the end, and had everything gone perfectly. And of course, Doug Feehan, he says 25% good team, 25% fast car, and then 50% luck. And that 50% luck's been going away from us a little bit, and that's why we're running second and third in these races here. We just really kind of need to get this all together with these next 3 races. Our next event is the Michelin GT Challenge at VIR, and then the number 33 Corvette C8R in the WEC, they race again at September 2nd, and they have 2 races in the season. So we're getting there towards the end, and of course get some additional news coming up here about that season.
That sounds good. The good thing about Road America, they had a GT3R out there on display.
Yeah, I don't know if they've shown this car to the public before other than the unveiling at Daytona this year, but Pratt Miller Motorsports showed off that new Z06 GT3R race car outside the Corvette Corral at Road America. People were going gaga over it. A bunch of photos hit social media. We were able to share a bunch of those photos that came out. I mean, it's a great looking car with that side intake trim that matches that of the Z06 finally. You've got that wild arrow, that big wing hanging on the back. I mean, it's an incredible looking machine. So far, we've got 3 teams announced that'll be campaigning the car in IMSA. 2 are going to the Pratt Miller Motorsports for the GTD Pro class. We got 2 going to the Canadian team AWA for racing in the GTD class or the amateur class. And then finally, we got 2 scheduled for the FIA World Endurance Championship with an English team called TF Sport. They're dropping the Aston Martins this year and going to Corvette next year. These teams are expected to get their cars sometime in November. And of course, we'll see them first on the track at the Rolex 24 Daytona in January.
And we also had some big news about Corvette racing for next year, Keith. Alex Sims and Nicky Catsburg are going to join the IMSA Corvette lineup for next year. And Jordan Taylor is leaving Corvette racing. Wow.
Yeah, kind of big news and kind of surprising. Pratt Miller Motorsports announced last week that Alexander Sims and Nicky Catsburg will be joining the team, the IMSA team, to race that second Corvette Z06 GT3R in the GTD Pro class. And we assume it's the number 4 Corvette. However, I was reading through it as we were preparing for this. First of all, it's great to have 2 cars to root for again, especially in the longer races where anything can happen. We're used to that. If one car gets in trouble, it's always all hands on deck for the other car. Having just a single car has always led to a little bit more anxiety amongst the Corvette racing fans. But the number 3 Corvette will feature Antonio Garcia and Tommy Milner. But the press release did say that these pairings will be confirmed at a later date. So we could see Garcia teamed up with Catsburg or Sims as opposed to Milner. So we're just waiting and seeing how that works out. Usually they do a lot of things based on how quick people are. Then there's this person, how their height, are they the same with the seat requirements, things like that. Things that make it easier for doing driver changes and such. Obviously, we're very sad to learn Jordan Taylor will be leaving Corvette Racing. It was his decision. He wanted to return to prototype class to contend for those overall wins. And of course, when your dad's running a racing team, it makes it real easy to kind of go back to that. So he's returning back to Wayne Taylor Racing, piloting the Acura ARX 06 GTP entry with co-driver Louis Delatraz. I think that's how he says his name. We, of course, wish Jordan the best of luck. Great having him on the team. A lot of fun. Love the social stuff away from Corvette was a lot of fun, We're still going to be following that, but got some really competent people. Both Alexander Sims is returning to Corvette Racing. Of course, Nicky Catsburg just won the championship in the FIA WEC with the number 33 car over there this year. So these guys are very fast. We're really excited to have them back in the IMSA team.
Definitely. And also, if you're going to Corvettes at Carlisle, if you like racing, we're going to be celebrating 100 years of Le Mans at Corvettes at Carlisle.
This is fortuitous for the fact that they kind of came up with this last year, and then we go out and win Le Mans this year. Fortunately, we won't have that Le Mans winning C8R there to show, but we've got some really cool stuff lined up for the Chip's Choice exhibit. Chip's Choice is named after the late Chip Miller, who co-founded Corvettes of Carlisle with his friend Bill Miller. They put this special collection together called the Best of the Best, and each year, there's always a different theme, and now these vehicles are hand-selected by Chip's son Lance Miller. This year's collection of Corvette racers will be on display at Corvettes of Carlisle in Building T. So look for Building T, and that's where you'll find the Chip's Choice. They're going to have 2 Cunningham cars from the 1960 Le Mans. They're bringing together 3 Callaway racers, and it's actually going to be the first time that all 3 of these Callaway racers will be shown at an event together. Of course, we're realizing the loss of Reeves Callaway. There's going to be some celebrations and some thoughts about him. Great to see those cars there. There's going to be the 1968 L88 that ran in 1973. That was the red car that wore the Ferrari banner. Many people don't know that story. Great backstory to that. Also, a 1962 Corvette that raced at the 1962 Le Mans is going to be there. A couple of other significant Corvettes that were prepped for Le Mans but never quite made it. They include a 1968 L88, the Blue DX Racer. And then, of course, one of my favorite Corvettes of all time, the 1963 Gulf 1 Z06 that was driven by the flying dentist, Dr. Dick Thompson. That car should have been over there, never made it over there, ended up dominating an SCCA competition here in the States. But that would have been a lot of fun to see that car racing at Le Mans.
Yeah, that's really cool. In the rumors category, Keith, it looks like Ford might also come out with a mid-engine Mustang, and they're benchmarking it against the C8 Z06 and Stingray.
Well, that's the rumor. The rumor came from Ford Authority. There's GM Authority, and then they have a sister site called Ford Authority, who suggested that a mid-engine Mustang built by Multimatic, which also produced their Ford GTs, would be coming out. There's not a lot of news about this yet, but what we're actually seeing was there was a leak last Wednesday night, and it actually showed a really wild front-engine wide-body car that people are calling the Mustang GTD. This is supposedly going to be the ultimate Mustang for the streets. We're not going to really see any real meaningful production numbers out of the car. I think they were scheduled to build 1,000 GTs over 4 or 5 years, so it was really slow as they were putting these cars out. Of course, the cars are really expensive as well, and they had some crazy ownership requirements. But if they do the same thing with this Ford GTD Mustang, probably going to be a niche car.
Yeah, interesting. Well, we'll wait and see what happens with that. If they're benchmarking it against the Stingray and the Z06, it could be really cool. And I saw pictures of a Ford GT with a Mustang nose on it. That was an interesting rendering, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was something we captured from Instagram just to kind of show, what some people are thinking it might look like. Again, still waiting on the official details to roll out there, which we might end up talking about, depends. But it's just another front-engine Mustang. But if it would actually been a mid-engine Mustang, that'd be kind of cool. But again, you got to kind of think about the car, their roots. Obviously, the Corvette's always been a sports car. The Mustang's always been a muscle car, pony car. You got the 4 seats versus the 2 seats. I love the Mustangs. Had one in high school. It was my second car, a Fox Buddy in 1979. We're all for Corvettes. We think it's a superior car with a superior engineering platform behind it. They're not stealing us away, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And it is a superior car. You're absolutely right. Well, buddy, let's take our final break. When we come back, it's the lighter side of Corvette up next on Corvette Today.
Are you ready for a better insurance policy without the Corvette tax? With Agreed Value Protection, the value of your collector vehicle will never change. Plus, you'll save money. Get a quick quote at ncminsurance.com.
Hey, honey, are you awake?
I am now.
I can't sleep. Since turning 50, I keep dreaming of a red door and a blue door, somehow knowing there are only choices for retirement.
Okay.
Through the red door, we outlive our money. We have to rely on our kids. We're stuck on a fixed income. It's terrifying.
Yeah, that would suck.
But through the blue door, our money outlives us. We retire on our terms. Our kids stay our kids, not our caretakers. We make work optional.
Yes, that's much better. That's what I want too. But what do we do?
We call True Wealth & Company at 913-653-8783. They specialize in helping successful people make work optional. They're our fiduciary Blue Door personal wealth managers.
Hey, where are you going? It's 3 a.m.
I can't sleep. I'm going to check out True Wealth & Company online at retirewithtrue.com. That Blue Door is going to be our retirement.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth & Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the the state of Kansas.
VetFinders.com is the Internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25, and every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada, and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetFinders.com, the Internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
When you want to buy a Corvette, or any Chevrolet for that matter, get yours from Hendrick Chevrolet Shawnee Mission, located in Kansas City. Hendrick Chevrolet is the largest Corvette dealership and showroom in the Midwest. With a knowledgeable sales staff and Corvette sales specialists on hand, they'll help you build the Corvette of your dreams, and they ship nationwide. With Corvette certified master mechanics on site and a huge parts department with over 24,000 parts and $2 million in inventory, Hendrick Chevrolet is well equipped to take care of your every need. From sales to service to collision repair, Hendrick Chevrolet has you covered. Visit ChevyUSA.com or call 913-384-1550.
And now, back to the only current podcast on Corvettes, Corvette Today, with your host, Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks for checking out Corvette Today on podcast and YouTube. It's the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Car show season is here, and you want your Corvette looking its best. Dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com or call them at 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Don't forget, if you want a deeper dive into any of the stories that Keith and I cover on this show, you can always go to CorvetteBlogger.com. In our final segment, we always cover the lighter side of Corvette. This was an interesting story, Keith, that I picked up and I wanted you to talk about. Robert Downey Jr. is selling his decarbonized cars, and one of them is the C2 Corvette.
Yeah, so he's had the show on HBO, or Max as it's called now. It's called the Robert Downey Jr. Dream Car. Have you seen any of it?
No, I don't have Cinemax or HBO.
Okay, well, I made it through the first 4 episodes or so. It's a pretty interesting show. I know there's a Corvette coming up. I know we're getting closer to that. On the flip side, there's a lot of lecturing going on about climate change in these. So this show's not for everybody, I guess. But I'm watching it because I like Iron Man, and he's got some cool cars. So I want to just kind of see what's happening there. They've done some really neat stuff. So I'm following along. What he's done is he's got these 6 cars. He decarbonized them, so they put in EV power plants. I know one of them was a biodiesel conversion they did on a Mercedes. What they've done is, now that they've got all 6 of them done, he's going to be giving away one at a time beginning next February.
Wow.
And then running one per month through July. And it's a raffle, actually. And this raffle, the money is going to go to his foundation, which I'm sure is going to generate some more lecturing on climate change. But it's Iron Man, so I'll put up with it.
Yeah.
But it's actually a pretty good show. Looking forward to seeing the Corvette. He's going to do, I guess, a couple races with it against some other cars. So it should be interesting to see how it does.
Well, let me know how it goes. I'd like to see what happens with that C2 Corvette.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Also, Keith, the company that transports Corvettes around the country, Jack Cooper Transport, has acquired a rival company, and that's 240 extra transports.
Yeah, this was an interesting story. And I think our friend John over at the Mid-Virginia Corvette Forum, he kind of mentioned it to me kind of in the side. Hey, did you hear about this? And I went, no, that's kind of interesting. Let me dig into that. And we found out that, yeah, they're the shipping company that brings new Corvettes from the assembly plant to dealers. And they recently purchased a company called More Transport out of Tulsa. They had a fleet of 240 auto carriers. So right away, you're adding a significant amount of capacity to haul cars from the plants to the dealers. Now, it's not just Corvettes they do. They do a lot of Chevrolets and other GM vehicles as well. Shipping these completed cars has become a real issue for the big 3 auto companies. Currently, there's a shortage of rail cars. We find out that GM's got like thousands of trucks piling up outside of Fort Wayne and Auburn, Indiana, just because they can't ship them fast enough. There was some news earlier this year that GM was buying 400 of their own car carriers so that they could basically do it themselves. So with this merger or acquisition, anything that can increase capacity is going to help. We've talked to dealers before. They sometimes will wait 2, 3, or even 4 weeks for a shipment to arrive from the plant, and that's just dead time for them when it could be, they're delivering the car and moving on to somebody else. And of course, if you've been behind the plant, you've seen all that sea of white transport covers. So all these cars are sitting there waiting to be shipped as well. I think this is a really good move. Of course, Jack Cooper went through bankruptcy, I believe, in 2019. They've come out of it since then even stronger. So this move can only be good for Corvette owners. And hopefully, like I said, the logistics will even themselves out and we'll be able to get cars from the assembly plant to dealers even faster.
That'd be really cool. I'd love that. Also, we saw a 2023 Z06 set the record fastest time at Virginia International Raceway, didn't we?
Well, I say the old Homer Simpson meme, fastest time so far. But actually, the real story there, it's not the fastest time ever. It's the fastest time for the C8 Z06.
Oh.
A YouTuber named Steel Ankles, we've shared his stuff before, and he's friends with a guy named Marco who's got a C8 Z06. He shared that PDR footage, and basically Marco ran the 3.3-mile full course in 1 minute and 58 seconds. During that lap, we saw him hit speeds as high as 166 miles an hour. Really fun video to watch. Of course, this is not the same course as what Car and Driver uses for the Lightning Lap. They use that full grand course, which is like 4-some miles.
Okay.
This is a 3.3-mile stretch. We had another video we watched. That guy wasn't quite as fast, was running about 2 minutes and 3 seconds, 2 minutes and 4 seconds. But again, a lot of traffic that he was having. These cars are really fast. It's nice to see them being used as the track weapon they were designed for. This is really something you should go find and check it out.
That's really cool. And speaking of racing against other cars, the C8 Corvette and some of the other domestics are going to be in a battle against imports on the track, aren't they?
Well, I don't know about you, Steve, but I really like watching Corvettes kicking butt at the track, especially when they win, you know. So while the other one was at VIR on the road course, here we got Corvettes at a drag strip doing a quarter mile at a time. I was watching this video and it occurred to me, wait a second, we're going up against it's domestics versus imports, which kind of was cool. We saw a C8 Corvette Stingray. They went up against a new Supra. It won. Went up against a new BMW and beat the BMW. And then there was a C7 Corvette that raced a Nissan GT-R. Of course, they won because of the all-wheel drive. But just really fun stuff. That video comes from the Wheels channel on YouTube, and you can search it out again on Corvette Blogger. When we talk about the Corvette, it's always fun when we can see that quarter-mile domination happening. The rear-wheel drive of the car combined with that engine sitting over those rear wheels has really changed the outlook of Corvettes when they do go to the track. So it's fun to watch and good to see them beating up on the competition.
Absolutely right. Our final story, Keith, is kind of a sad one. We're going to miss this guy. Bob Bubnis over at the National Corvette Museum is going to be leaving.
Yeah, good friend Bob Bubnis. He was the curator of collections and the exhibits manager at the NCM. He's been there for a long time, I believe about 15 years or so. He's actually going to be leaving his position after the anniversary event in September to become the executive director of the Aviation Heritage Park in Bowling Green. I Googled it, and it's basically an aviation museum. They have a building. It's not a huge building, certainly not big enough to host a lot of aircraft in it. So what they do is they have this building, and I tell you, Steve, I looked at it, it looks like the Justice League from back in the day.
Wow.
But they've got this building there, and then there's a big circle out front. There's like 8 aircraft parked out there. I saw like a Blue Angels maybe. There was like a former, looked like Marine One that transports the presidents from the White House to Andrews Air Force Base and stuff. That was parked out there. A couple other fighters. Some really cool stuff out there. He calls it his dream to do that, especially as his career's winding down. To be in charge, the executive director of that. He's still going to be in touch with the Corvette Museum, and they're going to do some cross promotions and things like that. When I was on their website, they had a whole thing about astronauts. So right away, I'm like, aha. But again, Bob's been with the NCM forever. He was a huge help when I was putting together my book on Corvette Special Editions. He either had photos that we needed or he knew who had them. And so he's just a big help there. Of course, we wish Bob the best of luck. Looking forward to checking out the Aviation Heritage Park, again, which has these military aircrafts parked outside in Bowling Green. So we'll be checking that out.
Absolutely. Well, Bob, we're going to miss you. All the best of luck in your new position. It sounds very, very cool. Well, Keith, thanks for being back on Corvette Today. I will see you later on this week at Corvettes at Carlisle.
Yeah, and you've got a couple seminars you're doing at Carlisle, correct?
Absolutely right, buddy. I'm going to be doing a seminar on Friday and Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on both days on Corvette Today. I've actually got some new updated stuff for you. So if you're out there, please come on by either Friday at 1 or Saturday at 1 and see the seminar that I do on Corvette Today.
Yeah, we'll try to make that happen as well. It's always a good time. It's fun talking to people that listen to the show. You built this passionate listener base. Obviously, they're hungry for news like we all are, and we're glad to contribute every 2 weeks. So we appreciate that.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today, and please be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today podcast. And thanks to our sponsors. Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com to learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-840-5334. Soul Performance Products at soulpp.com, the official exhaust of Corvette Today. True Wealth & Company at retirewithtrue.com. Also, Aerolarri Wheels. Get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at aerolarri.com. And Hendrick Chevrolet in Kansas City at chevyusa.com.
You've been listening to Corvette Today with Steve Garrett. If you'd like to contact Steve with any thoughts on the podcast or ideas for guests on Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. Or connect with Steve on social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using @SteveGarrettDJ. Thanks again for listening to Corvette Today.